In part 1, we arrived on the eastern shore of Lake Turkana and stepped into Koobi Fora, one of the richest fossil landscapes ever uncovered. We learned that human evolution was never a straight line, but a crowded, branching tree of different humans living during overlapping window of time. We met KNM-ER 1470, a skull that helped prove more than one species of early Homo may have shared the Africa landscape at once. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, we do recommend to start from there because everything follows built on that crowded family tree. In this session, we'll put an ancient tool in an ancient hand for the very first time and follow the evidence into something far darker. Bones tells us what ancient hominids look like. Stone tools tells us something completely different. They tell us what ancient minds were doing. At Koobi Fora, archaeological sites have preserved important Oldowan stone tools assemblages. And while these tools might look simple to modern eye, that simplicity is deceptive. The picture holding a stone in your hand, then striking it against another stone at just the right angle, with just the right amount of control force, to knock loose a sharp flake. The edge that results can be remarkably sharp enough to cut through flesh, slice connective tissue, and help break down an animal carcass. And suddenly, a hominin's own body had been extended. Teeth could bite, and hand could pull. But no, a sharp stone edge could cut, and that single capacity changed the relationship between the body and the environment forever. And there's an important myth to clear up here. Koobi Fora does not hold the world's earliest known stone tools. The history runs even deeper. On the western side of Lake Turkana, at a site called Lomekwi, stone tools dating back roughly 3.3 million years push the known history of technology far further back than researchers had once believed. Other discovery has complicated the timeline of early Oldowan technology ever further. So, Koobi Fora importance lies elsewhere. Here, researchers can study stone technology across a sequence that has been investigated in extraordinary details. How tools were made, which raw materials were chosen, how flakes were stuck away, where finished tools were left behind, and how the behavior behind all of it changed, or something stubborn stayed the same across time. And that revealed another important truth. Technology did not evolve like a modern product line, with an old model discarded the moment a new one appeared. Ancient technology tradition could persist for enormous stretch of time. Different approach could exist side by side. A simple flake could remain perfectly useful even after other, more advanced tools form had already appeared. Because evolution does not care how something looks in a museum case. It only cares whether it works. And for an early human who is trying to cut through animal tissue, a small, sharp flake may have done the job just as well as anything more elaborated. But the stone tools of Koobi Fora led us to something even darker. Because sometimes the mark a tool leaves behind outlast both the maker and the victim. The fossil isn't dramatic at first glance. It isn't a complete skull. It isn't a nearly complete skeleton. It's a section of hominin tibia, a lower leg bone known as KNM-ER 741, roughly 1.45 million years old. And when researchers studied the mark scaring its surface, they identified a series of incisions consistent with the stone tool cut mark. Think about what that actually means. A stone edge appeared to have passed across the flesh of another hominin's leg, not once, but repeatedly. It's a disturbing thought, and science demands caution here. This is not definitive proof of cannibalism. To establish that, researchers would need stronger evidence that the individual who made the cut and the individual belong to the same species, and that simply cannot be confirmed with what we currently have. What the evidence does suggest is something broader. One hominin appeared to have used a stone tools to process the body of another human. the why remains unknown. Was the individual killed or dead? Was it hunger, opportunity, or violence? The bone does not say, and that uncertainty matters. Documentary love clean answer, but science tends to give us boundary instead. It tells us exactly what the evidence supports and exactly where it stops. The cut mark Libya offer a brief, unsettled glimpse into the behavior from more than a million years ago. A stone edge, a body, a sequence of cut, and then silence. Whatever happened that day vanished from memory almost immediately, but the mark stayed behind. And nearly 1.5 million years later, we are still trying to understand them. Human evolution cannot be understood by studying human ancestors alone, because a hominin does not evolve inside an empty room. It evolves inside an ecosystem, and Koobi Fora preserves the remains of entire animal community that share these landscapes. Ancient relative of elephant moved through the region. Giraffe browsed the vegetation. Bovids settled into different habitats. People stayed close to the water. Pigs foraged across open ground. And carnivores hunted and scavenged whatever opportunity allowed. For early hominins, none of this was background scenery. It was survival. Large carnivores were competition as much as threat. A carcass meant food, but approaching one means danger. Water source drew in prey animals, and those same water sources drew in predators, looking for an easy meal. Every shift in vegetation changed which food were available, and where the animals that depend on them moved. Every ecological change created new pressure to adapt. But an unstable environment may have rewarded flexibility above almost everything else. The ability to move, to change diet, to exploit different resources, to remember landscape, to learn, and to adapt behavior on the fly. And here, Koobi Fora becomes something more than just a collection of old books. It becomes a working laboratory for one of the biggest questions in human evolution. How did our ancestors survive uncertainty? You kneel down, brush away the dust, and realize the fragment in front of you might be a part of a creature that died more than 1 million years ago. From that moment, everything slows down. The context has to be recorded, the surrounding geology studied, fragile material carefully protected, excavated, and prepared. Back in the lab, specialists can spend years analyzing a single fossil, anatomists comparing structures, geologists refining dates, archaeologists studying stone tools, taphonomists working out what happened to the bone after death, paleoecologists reconstructing the world those bones once lived in. The story of Koobi Fora has been carried forward by a generation of Kenya researchers, fossil hunters, predators, the National Museum of Kenya, international research team, and the communities connected to the region. And that's the layer of this story most documentaries skip entirely. The human being, past and present, who make discovery like this possible in the first place. But everything we have covered so far, the crowded family tree, the first sharp tools, the disturbing cut marks, the ecosystem the researchers still kneeling in that dirt. All of it is building towards a greater question. What does this crowded, complicated landscape actually mean for the story of us? In part 3, we pull every thread of this investigation together and confront what Koobi Fora truly tells us about being human. Until then, keep looking beneath the surface, because the earth does not forget, it only waits. Till then, be curious and keep questioning with history under the cap.